Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome back to the free-to-play review. So, today we're going to be talking about the Heroes Path event from December 2022 that lasts for 5 days. So if we look at the rewards you can get, it's a pretty decent path overall, and you get some gems, some energy, some soul coins, some soul stones, some chaos ore, but the big kahuna is here at the bottom are 2 legendary tomes, an eternal soul stone, and the first time ever a legendary champion, so Tatura Kit. Now, Tatura Kit is a decent legendary, I would say A to B tier overall, and on the A1 he has a decreased accuracy for 2 turns on a single target, 100% chance to land. On the A2 he has block debuffs and increased defense on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. On the A3 he has a AoE attack that places Perfect Veil on all allies except for himself, but he puts a shield on himself equal to 20% of the damage inflicted. That's on a 4-turn cooldown. And he has this somewhat annoying passive where he just reflects 30% of damage he takes, as well as a 30% chance to freeze the attacker when attacked. He has decent base stats overall. You can't see them here because it's the 5-star version, but he also does have 102 speed, and he does smack pretty decently for a defensive-based champion. Now, my problem with Tatura is that he has a really solid kit overall, but he's not that useful in any area of the game. A lot of people do use him in Bommel for the A1, because since it is a decreased accuracy, 100% chance, and it lasts for 2 turns, which is really good, especially with Master Hexer. But at that point, you're using a legendary champion who you do have to book to get it to 100% chance as an A1 machine for 1 Doom Tower boss, which you could do, but that just seems like a waste of a legendary champion. The A2 can be really strong for Demon Lord Clan Boss as a kind of a pseudo Brogni-esque for affinity friendliness, and you also get increased defense, which makes your team tankier, as well as improving the damage of defense-based damage dealers like himself. And for Hydra, you can kind of take advantage a little bit of the Perfect Veil since he's one of the few champions who has that buff in the game, but it's on a 4-turn cooldown, and the problem with this is that he places the veil on everyone else, which means that he will fear himself, which means you might miss a decreased accuracy, or you might miss a block debuffs on auto, or you just kind of wait, try an A1 and see if it fails with the true fear on. The other problem for Hydra is that the head you want decreased accuracy on the most is the head of Mischief, who you can't single target unless you have Hex out. So if you have a Hex champion, I guess he could work and you can just target the head of Mischief, so he's less likely to steal your buffs. But if you don't have a Hexer out there, you're not even going to be able to attack the head you want to with this ability because it's not AoE. So some drawbacks to his kit, but again, he's still a pretty decent A to B tier legendary champion. So this iteration of the Heroes Path is a combination of a champion training event and a summon rush. Normally, we would, for a 2x Sacreds like we have going on right now, we would have a champion chase, but instead they've done the Heroes Path, which is effectively a summon rush. So starting with that summon rush, we have coins up for grabs, so 4,500 per Sacred Shard pulled, 1,100 per Void, 180 per Ancient, and 9 per Mystery. So you get a lot of value, as you'd expect from a Sacred Shard, but don't underestimate the power of Mystery Shards. So if you're short on some item for the last 300, 400, 500 points, a couple of 10 pulls, 90 a pop, and you can get a ton of coins that way. So keep that in mind if you're close to something near the end. The champion training aspect is about double what you would expect in terms of coins versus points for a standard champion training event. So these are usually a good return on your on value for going for some rewards because champion training is accessible to all players of all levels. The biggest question, of course, is how much is this going to cost? So starting with the legendary tomes on the left and the right, if we follow the left-hand path here, come all the way down to the tome, and you could do either one of these, that would cost you about 23,100 points. The right side is very similar, coming down here, splitting off either, and then grabbing the tome is 23,200 points. However, you have the option to come down the center path. So if we follow the center line here towards the soul stones, this actually allows you to access both tomes at once. So I have this screenshot here from one of my clanmates that shows this. so that the Immortal Soulstone gives you access to all 5 paths at once, and then you can go down and grab both of the tomes by just taking the center path. So taking the center path to just one of the tomes will cost you about 23,600 points, so very similar to the left and the right, it's just a little bit more expensive. But since you have access to both, taking the center path and getting both tomes will cost you a total of 37,600 points. If you're targeting the Eternal Soulstone here, you would just have to slightly change the center path approach to come down, grab both of these keys on the left and the right, and then focus on the center path through the Soulstones into the Chaos Ore, open this, and that would get you the Eternal Soulstone here, which would cost you a total of 62,600 points. And if you did want to go for Tatura as well, that's another 60,000 on top of that, for a grand total of 122,600 points. So what's my plan and what's my recommendation? As you might expect, as the tome hunter that I am, I do plan on taking the central path and getting both legendary tomes and stopping there. That's going to cost me 37,600 points, and I plan to do that via 5 sacreds, which is 22,500 points, and then the remaining 15,000 I can do with champion training. As you see, I already have some coins towards that, and that's about 3,000 coins a day, which is peanuts compared to a full champion training event. So this is very, very cheap in terms of the cost for a legendary tome. For those trying to do the same, that's what I would recommend. Take the center path, grab the soul stones, and just split off and grab both of the tomes. But if you want to pull a bit more shards than that, or you want to push a bit harder, you can definitely go for the Eternal Soulstone and gamble on potentially getting a 5 or 6 star epic and maybe a 5 or 6 star legendary soul. I also wanted to highlight what my old plan was going to be when I thought it was going to be a champ chase to accompany 2x sacreds, just to share kind of my min-max strategy for that in case you guys want to use that for future events. So normally a champion chase would require 3,000 points to get 1 legendary tome, and what I was going to do to get that was summon Hoskarul here, use him in Hardroom Tower for some spirit affinity control. That would have been 250 champ chase points. I was also going to summon Versal for the Grim to use him in the Force HP Secret Room, and that would have been 500 points. And then I also have a copy of Broadmaw waiting to be summoned, so that would have been 350 points. In addition to those 3, I was going to pull 5 to 6 sacred, so about the same as I was going to do anyways, and then any remainder to get the last 3,000, depending on my RNG in those sacreds of getting a legendary or not. I was going to fill it with mystery shards, 200 to 500 mystery shards, just because I knew that we're going into a fusion, which has now been confirmed to be next Thursday, December 15th. But I knew that there's a fusion coming up, so I was trying to save as many sacreds as I could. I also wanted to highlight the differences between the Hero's Path and a standard Champ Chase event in terms of the point cost of a legendary tome. So I have 3 cases here in the spreadsheet that kind of cover what's most likely to occur if you were to pull your shards on a 2x sacreds. The first case assumes you have some relatively bad luck where you don't pull any legendaries, you get 12 epics for 12 sacreds, 250 a pop is 3,000 points for 1 legendary tome. Case number 2 is where you get average luck, so it's about a 1 in 8 chance on a 2x sacreds to pull a legendary champion. So you get 1 legendary, you get 10 epics, a total of 11 sacreds, and that also gives you 3,000 points. And then of course we have case 3, where it's above average luck, where you get 2 legendaries, and you pull 8 epics alongside that for a total of 10 sacreds, and that will give you 3,000 points. So the difference comes in, if I scroll down, is the Hero's Path. In order to get 2 tomes, you'd only have to pull 8 to 9 sacreds, which is already less than what it would cost you to get 1 tome from the Champ Trace. So if your focus was just getting tomes like mine is, this is actually a lot cheaper, because even if you were to just pull all sacreds to get the 37,000-ish points, you'd still be less and you'd get twice as many tomes. And then of course, the less sacreds you pull, the more champion training you have to do, which again is very accessible to all of us as free-to-play players. All right, so that's going to do it for this free-to-play review of the Hero's Path event from December 2022. As I mentioned, my plan is to go for the 2 tomes by taking the central path, and that will be done with a combination of sacred shards and some champion training. Now, the champion training will be bolstered by the CVC personal reward energy that I got, 2400 here. Shout out to the Second Sons for a dub this past week. We tried very hard. This energy does expire in 6 days, and the Christmas fusion will be starting in roughly about that time. However, I think it's more valuable to go for the 2 tomes now and use my energy refills as needed, as well as my gem count, to go for the fusion, since I typically don't need CVC energy to complete fusions. Plus, I do also want to gain more silver from champion training. I've recovered a lot since the last time you guys have seen my silver count, but I do want to comfortably sit in like the 20 to 30 mil range if possible. So I plan to do a lot of champion training. For the rest of you, if you're going for the tomes or the Eternal Soulstone and beyond, best of luck. Hopefully you get some amazing champions from your shard pulls. Let me know what you get in the comment section down below. If you enjoy this free-to-play review, there will be more coming down the pipeline in the future, so be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified when they are posted. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.